What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, Everyday User, here to bring you no-nonsense, real-world reviews of consumer tech. Ultimately, what I want to do on this channel is to give you the information you need to make informed decisions from the perspective of a budget-conscious consumer who's picky, looking to maximize the quality of products that they're buying. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Akko CS Lavender Purple Tactile Switch that I was able to buy from the Apple Maker store on Amazon. I'm going to be going over an unboxing of these switches, talking about what the key features are of these tactile switches, ultimately what I think the value proposition is in buying these tactile switches, and I'll leave you with some sound tests so you can make up your mind as to how you think these switches sound out of the box. Just a reminder that all of the views in this video are my own. I was in no way, shape, or form sponsored as I was making this video. I just didn't have a lot of information when I was making my purchasing decision. So I wanted to go through a detailed review of what was important to me and what I found out while using these switches that might be useful to you as you build your custom mechanical keyboard. So guys, let's start off with an unboxing. And I can tell you, I was so happy at the way these switches were packaged when they arrived to me. Checking this packaging out, you can see that it comes in a hardcover box, which I was really happy about. Unlike other switches that may come in bags or not as good or premium quality packaging, these switches are protected in transport by this hardcover box. Opening it up, we can see that the individual switches themselves are set in rows, so each switch has a place to go. I liked it so much that I actually used it to hold or to store my Gateron Browns that initially came with the keyboard that I'm working with. Some may see these Akko switches as a budget option, but these were truly high quality premium packaging that Akko's provided to transport their switches. I really appreciated how this was done, so we were off to a great start. Now, there's a number of key features that's important for you to know if you're interested in getting these switches. The Akko CS Lavender switches are 3-pin MX style switches, which means that they will fit into 3-pin or 5-pin PCBs. And because they are MX style, they should fit most standard keycap sets. These are also tactile switches, so there is a bump or an active tactile event that happens upon key press. These aren't linear, so they aren't smooth on a key press, and they're not clicky, so there is not an audible click at the end of a keystroke. These switches require 50 grams of operating force to get to the tactile event, and the actual tactile bump is very high up on the keystroke. There is minimal pre-travel for these keystrokes. You really get that tactile bump at the top of the key press, which is something I really like and I think feels great. Note that the purple lavenders have 18mm springs and they are not factory lubed. That allows you to lube them yourself to your preference if that's something that you're interested in doing to your switches, but these are not factory lubed. And I really wanted to feature that tactility. I was really happy with how significant the tactile bump is, coming from a Gateron Brown that is a much lighter tactile event that doesn't require the same level of operating force. Compared to the purples, those browns almost felt linear in nature. The tactile bump was so small or insignificant. Here, it's very pronounced, but still comfortable enough that when I'm typing, they don't tire out my fingers. And with that in mind, I really just wanted to talk about the value proposition that these switches offer. And I really compare them to the Glorious Pandas and the Boba U4Ts, which are both some of the most popular tactile switches around. The Glorious Pandas come in packs of 36 and are 24 USD, which makes them a little under $1 per switch. And the Boba U4Ts come in packs of 10, but they're $6.50 per pack, which puts them a little bit over $1 per switch. And then comes Akko's Lavender Purple switches, which come in sets of 45, but are only 10 USD, so significantly cheaper on a per switch basis than some of the competition. Also note that the U4Ts are 5-pin versus the CS Lavenders and the Glorious Pandas who are 3-pin. So for me, who has a 3-pin board, I didn't want to buy the U4Ts knowing I'd have to clip them right off the box. I wanted to get something that would work right away after purchasing it. Now, are these switches perfect? I don't think they are. Stock, they were a little scratchy, so that's something to take note of. But that's definitely something you could correct by applying your own lube if that's something that you wanted to do. So why should you get these switches? To me, it all comes down to the value, in the price per switch and in what you're actually getting. These Lavender switches were a huge step up from the stock browns that came with my keyboard, and given how inexpensive they were, I was so willing to give these switches a chance, knowing that if I wanted to, I could always down the line purchase a different set of switches. These are so low risk, I highly suggest that you try them out for yourself just to know what they're like, see what tactility feels like, and if it's something that you'd be interested in. Now, before we get to the sound test, I wanted to give a word of caution. There are so many factors that can change how a keyboard sounds. The microphone that you're using, the type of desk that you're using, whether you have a mat under the keyboard or not. And given all of those factors that exist that can change the way a keyboard sounds, it's important to take different sound tests for what they're worth. How my keyboard sounds on my desk may not be how the same keyboard sounds on your desk, given the differences that I've already noted. With that being said, my setup is a desk from IKEA, a 4mm keyboard and mouse mat on top of that desk, a GMMK 100% keyboard. I need the 100% given I need the number pad for what I do, and otherwise a fairly stock keyboard. I did put tape underneath the stabilizers to reduce movement in the stabilizers a little bit, but that's really the only mod that I've done on my keyboard. With that, here's a quick sound test for how Akko's CS Lavender Purple Tactile switches sound. And there you have it. My conclusion is that Akko's CS Lavender Purple tactile switches are unparalleled in the value that they provide. These truly are the budget tactile kings, but let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you've liked what you've seen today, please like and subscribe. It helps me produce more of this type of content as I'm just starting out. I'd appreciate all the support that's available. Thank you so much.